started after personal experiences. First, it was with my mother, who stayed for a big operation on her kidney. It was a benign tumor, and it was a dangerous operation because she already has only one kidney. And in this case, I looked abroad and found for her mini-invasive treatment. It was radiofrequency ablation therapy. And I went to Romania, neighbor land, and we did this procedure. Until now, this tumor doesn't grow, and we escaped from operation. And 1 year later, my brother was diagnosed with thrombocytopenia, is disease with very low levels of thrombocytes, and it's a big risk for hemorrhages. And there are two ways to treat this disease. It's a hormonal treatment and splenectomy, spleen removing. The hormonal treatment doesn't work in Moldova, and my brother was already programmed for operation. And this is a case where I looked for a second opinion, and we went together to Moscow, to main hematological center, and interestingly, it was indicated the same hormonal treatment, but in another way. He received a higher dose with a longer period of time. And the same treatment, but another way, was successful, and he escaped from a big operation. And it is not a recurrence of disease till now. It's already 4 years. And after this experience, I saw this opportunity and this possibility to help people and to start my company in Moldova. Until now, we don't have good choices in oncology treatment, radiosurgery. We don't have PET-CT, for example, to diagnose the oncology, and people are looking abroad for these modern and latest technologies. And this work in medical travel, I found my mission to help people to manage their medical issues, and I love to be involved in this international health. And now I would like to point 4 ideas where I see patient as our main focus. First one, when we first meet a patient, I think we should be very careful and listen. And in medicine, we have such word, anamnesis. It's a part of doctor's work when doctor is only asking. It's about 40, 50 questions. And there are questions about compliance, about family history, about height, weight, body mass index. And when we take this whole information and give it to our partners abroad, we receive these more detailed, more personal answers from our partners. Of course, we are asking about desirable destination for treatment, and of course about financial issues. Next idea is about alternative ways of solving a problem. We know in oncology, for the same disease, it can be different. The same disease can be different approached. In some case, it's surgery. The same disease can be treated with radiotherapy or new technologies like laser therapy. In operation, it can be open operation, laparoscopic, or it can be a Da Vinci robotic surgery. The next idea and next step when we are helping our patients is contacting with our partners in clinic and hospitals abroad. And of course, we are asking about methods, about all the steps our patient, our client is needed to take. But for me, as a doctor, it's more important the human. Who will be his doctor in foreign country, in foreign hospital? And I'm always asking about information from doctor. I would like to see doctor's biography, his main focus. I would like to see publications. And in publications and biography, we always see what is the Schwerpunkt, his main doctor's work. And it's important that this doctor will be every day implicated in a desirable procedure. It's a specialization of the doctor, as Irena said, in Israel, there are many doctors who are specialized in a specific field. That's very important. And success rate is much higher when we contact and work with such doctors. Of course, we are looking of opinions and previous patients' reviews. Here also one idea about professor and about my experience. A professor is not a guarantee of success in medicine, and we also should look very carefully for professor biographies and to see if this professor will be the best choice for our patients. Because professors, in many cases, I'm speaking from my experience with Germany, the price for professor may be twice much than the normal price for surgery, let's say. Next idea. In some cases, also I have many partners abroad, I can receive the good answer, the good proposal for treatment for my patients. This is the situation when I'm going on myself on searching the right doctor. Of course, I look at Google, but most important for me is PubMed, and doctors are knowing this research where the all publication are listed, and here we can find the latest publications and informations about doctors where it's done something of a particular case. And here I'm speaking about some rare diseases or very complicated cases. And my last idea, Jonathan yesterday had mentioned about second medical opinion, and this is a great possibility. And here I would like to point that from my experience, when second opinion is for cost, when patient must pay something, and yesterday I discussed with IVF clinic from Zagreb, with Ms. Shimunic, and she said that they propose such consultation for fee, and it's very important, because in such cases I see the seriousness of the patient who is willing to pay, willing to invest something to receive an accurate answer, and I see the seriousness of the doctors and hospital abroad who are giving such a second medical opinion. This is cases when there are complicated cases where maybe two doctors involved in these second medical opinions. And in this second medical opinion, when the patient must pay, I saw many patients which are converted, which are turning from virtual patient into real one, and patient is going abroad. This was my ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stepan. And we will start our second part of our discussion. We have more 30 minutes for discussion. I would like to return back to the first speaker and to raise up the question, travel agents against the facilitator. Can travel agents be a good facilitator or not? Any comments about that from the audience? Okay, then I will start and maybe somebody will support. I believe that this issue depends on the market. I will tell you from my personal experience. Medical Guide is a professional facilitator based in Ukraine. But we're dealing with the CIS markets, and almost 5 years in the business, what I mentioned. If we're taking Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, there are almost no specific facilitators company there. 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 maximum. But they have travel agents who have a part in their business and who are sending patients abroad. If we look back to the Ukraine, last year closed down almost 60% of the facilitator and travel agents who were doing medical tourism in Ukraine. But still those who are existing, they are only as operator of medical tourism, facilitator. So I believe that travel agents for medical tourism or facilitator for medical tourism, it's depend on the markets. Maybe somebody in the audience have some ideas about that. Share your experience, raise up the issue.
Since I was the one who first mooted this point, I think I'd like to just contribute to what you just said. It's not about the market, it's about the commitment you bring. I have been asked this question, what do you have for a day job, Zahid? And I've turned around and said, this is my day job, this is my full-time job. I am a 24/7 healthcare travel facilitator and nothing else. People have doubted that I earn enough money to make a decent living. That for one. Secondly, if you ask me my background, I come from Pakistan. I served in the Pakistan Army for 25 years, rose to the dizzying heights of being a colonel of the Pakistan Army, then moved to the UK, entered the corporate field over there, managed a software company for 4 years, and turned into a medical travel facilitator. What qualification did I bring? Zilch, zero. How did I make myself a facilitator? I entered a growing market. I evolved with the market. I was open to suggestion and willing to learn. I committed my time and my resources, my energy to learning the trade. There is no formal education for healthcare travel facilitators. Name one university that gives you a degree in healthcare travel facilitation. Name one course book, textbook that tells you what it takes to be a healthcare travel facilitator. I can tell you what principles to abide by. I can tell you it takes commitment, it takes empathy, it takes organizational skills, it takes management, it takes negotiation, it takes interpersonal skills, and it takes communication skills to deliver healthcare travel facilitation. Medical travel is distinct from travel agency functions. I'm not arranging a flight. I'm not booking a hotel. I'm not ordering a taxi or transfers. I'm not arranging tourism. I'm not doing package holidays. The misnomer is tourism. The word tourism, the sooner we get rid of it from our lexicon, our dictionary in healthcare travel, the better we would be served. And therefore, I firmly believe that this is not a job for travel agents. It's a dedicated function.
Thank you very much.
Yes, please. Yeah, you pointed some very important, really skills, but I think as due to experience that it does. But you worked in software, yes. It's great, you got all the skills, yes. I'm not a doctor, yes, my education was Aircraft Institute. The only common thing with medicine is that I made the diagnostic of aircraft engines, okay? Diagnostic, this is the point. But all those skills, they help. And even, I can give you an example, we had 8 patients per week from Ukraine. And do you know who brought them? They brought the person who is a teacher. But she is, as you tell, absolutely correct. She is really wanting to help her friends, to help the people. The empathy, that is what important. But to train in other, we can train, and that's why I would like to mention how important is what the Medical Tourism Association, MTA, initiates this certification, because the course, when you go through this course, at least there is the systematic knowledge, and it is very important for the beginners. It's absolutely important. But you think, I go through that, and I see, oh, it's very important to systemize that. It is as if you know, there is a very important method, lean management. It's Kaizen, constant improvement. Each day you learn something. All of us now, during those 2 days here, we learn something new. So I think if the person eager to know, to learn, and wants, feels such calling to deal with patients, it is absolutely, it doesn't matter if he is travel agency or maybe works as a teacher and so on. So I can...
My point is only, you can't double up. If you're doing the travel agency work, then do that.
Of
That's
course,
what you're good
of course.
at.
That's
If you
why-
want to be
yeah,
a facilitator,
exactly.
you've got to be a full-time facilitator.
Yeah, that's why.
That is my distinction.
Yes, it is the profession. Absolutely correct. It is the profession, and it can be built in any business. You can be a freelancer or to work for the company. It depends on you. Yeah, but to be totally dedicated, it is important. You are absolutely correct.
Well, I think that those CIS market I mentioned, it is difficult to move facilitation just as it is. Because people nowadays, patients, they are clever, yeah? They go to internet, they are searching for the hospital, and directly they are trying to reach the hospital, yeah? So I believe that situation what we have in CIS market now, travel agents who are joining the facilitation, it is just because that individual facilitator are not able to survive financially only. So that's why management have several departments like travel department and medical travel department. That's why they are taking care of this business. That's actually my view. What about, you just mentioned about, I'm not a doctor, the teacher sending patients. I will go back again to the Ukrainian case what we had. Being honest, on the legislation level, we have no business, we have no official meaning of the medical tourism as an activity. There is no law about that. We have a travel law, for example, about tourism, yes, and they tried to put some amendments there. And one of the amendments it was that each facilitator is supposed to have, must have, not supposed to have, a medical doctor in the staff. What is your thoughts about that? Is it necessary or not?
I think so.
You're asking me, Julia?
Huh?
You're asking me?
I'm asking everybody.
Okay.
Let's start from
I'll
you.
I'll let somebody else speak because I've spoken enough.
Yes, maybe some
Yes,
people from
we
the
have,
audience.
you are told we have the doctor in our staff. It is absolutely it's important to have the doctor who
Yes,
can
please.
analyze the first. Yeah.
This is Ali Nuh from Bahrain. Thanks for your presentation. As you know, the importance of facilitators, and as you talk about the importance of the staff who is facilitating the abroad, there should be a knowledge and experience for facilitator to be able to send patient abroad, because if you don't have any background in the medical field, I think it is difficult to be able to send patient to proper hospital or any clinic or centers that suits the treatment for this patient.
Can I ask, please? Yeah. You see, that is why I mentioned that all the knowledge we have with our staff, yes, because we have also doctors and staff, and we have all the information we make for our staff trainings. With if something new arises, some new doctor, we train, we learn, okay, to learn. Then all the net that we developed of our partners in Russia, for example, or in Ukraine, we train them, okay? So this knowledge, and it is all the final diagnostics and all the analysis is made by the doctor, but we know to whom we can approach with that or other problem. It is the first filtration, I would like to say, we make in our staff, yes? But then everything goes, we give to one, for example, for neurosurgery, it is very, very demanding now with brain tumors. We have very, very few specialists in Israel, but now that why we go out a little bit to the world, not only Russia, because we know that Israeli patients are also searching for some brain tumors treatments in United States. We need this knowledge. We need to learn about other hospitals. So everything is based on knowledge and for sharing the knowledge and training. Training is the key. If you just recruit the agent you meet at the exhibition, oh, good, nice, you had some coffee, you are my agent, you signed for commissions, everything. No, it's not the job. The job is to give all the skills. We have our special videos that during our seminars in Israel, when we bring for fun trips, we just make the videos, and then for the newcomers we make online or we send them. Our main coordinators teach them everything, to be able to reply to any questions that can arise from the patient. This is the key. So,
Thank you. We have
If I
more
answered
questions.
Yeah, good morning. It's Mohammed from Bahrain. I totally agree with you. It doesn't have to be really a doctor in a team, but they have to be someone with a minimum knowledge and experience in medical field.
yeah, of course we
Yeah,
have.
and what you said is true. I mean, you can train people to distinguish cases and filter cases, and not necessarily to be a doctor in a team, but definitely that will help a lot in identifying basically not just about the treatment or the complications and stuff like
now,
that.
it's very good questions also about the complications, I would say about that. Due to our reliability we gain in Israel, because if you, for example, 3 years ago, if you into the internet and search treatment in Israel, you have about 300 and maybe more facilitators. So there are very, very few. He thinks that if his brother works in a hospital Asuta, he is a good facilitator, just to give the case, to get commissions, and that's it. No, so we even had some from a very newspaper, the researcher from Russia, and we saw how we work, and the monitin, how in Hebrew, I started to speak in Hebrew. So the reputation we gain allows us to make special, very special agreements with the hospitals about the in case of complication. So the point is, if during some time some complication happens, the patient gets everything if needed, yes, for free then. But it is everything arranged for different cases. It is very, very specified. Okay? Yes, of course, we are not the creator. And medicine is not, you see, the mathematics. Of course, it is also the science, and it is the art as well. So here there can be very difficult cases, and that's why the point that we have all the law issues handled in one organization. We can deal even, yes, we had some cases that patient came with very, very bad complications, yes, but we knew how to go out of that. And what is the main point also, please, I also train my staff as well. So I say, don't only be with the dollars in your eyes. It is very important. This personal empathy, all the features that the person has to be, you should treat each and every patient as if it is his relative. Okay? And from this point, you can find better solutions, and the patient will be satisfied, and we are so happy when they are really recovered afterwards. We get a lot of letters. You see, this makes the spirit. The spirit is inside of us. And on our website, you can see the people they share their experiences there. So we make everything what we can, you see.
And one more point about the certification. I think I totally disagree that people who work in such a field should have some certification. In my country, you cannot work in any field without having a degree or certification that allow you to really work in that field. It is to make it more systematic, because some people can do the job, but after many years of experience. But if starting a job like that, you need to be knowing the system, how the system of referral, how do you deal with hospitals, exactly, and also the legal aspect. But there are people who can do it after years of experience. That's a different issue. But I totally agree that there should be some certification for any training for anyone who starts in this field. Thank you.
So the first time I heard about the certification program, when I got acquainted with MTA, and they say, oh, everything from creator. And I came to Orlando to conference. It was in September. something great. It was the first time I participated in such a conference, and that's why I'm here, by the way. Okay? And I saw how it is important. And with all my experience, with all my training programs, and so on and so on, now I do this certification for myself. And again, sometimes you see some points that wow, I didn't pay so much attention to that. And it is very, very important, I think.
I'd like to go a step further. And what I would like to suggest is that there needs to be licensing, not certification. And that licensing needs to come from a regulatory body. And that regulatory body needs to be from amongst our community. It needs to be an association of facilitators that does that. It needs to be on a regional basis because there is a regional nuance to healthcare travel, to medical travel. We tend to stick by and large to our own region for cultural contiguity, for geographical contiguity, for gastronomic contiguity. So for all of those reasons, we like to stick there. And there needs to be a government recognition, a regional recognition of such licensing. So the licensing should be recognized, just like the airline and travel or tour operators license.
Like that, but
You
it
know,
will,
so there
it
needs
will
to be-
take time, I think.
That's
will
the
take
association. That's the association.
But that's not
That-
going to happen, is it? Because
Well,
then it starts to become a revenue
Let's you and I
gathering
start.
exercise.
Let's moot it today. I don't want to be the president of the association, but I would like to propose that we form an association. Are the other 4 people sitting on this stage willing to become members? I would like to suggest that the world is big enough for all of us. We don't have to feel threatened of each other. I am going to make my living regardless of whatever happens elsewhere in the world. I'm good at what I do, which is why I've survived for the last 10 years, as I'm sure all of you have. So let's join hands and give a semblance of credibility to our function. Let us bring recognition of our function into medical travel.
But don't you remember we tried this some
But-
years ago?
No, but that was a
We
different
sat
thing.
round the
Yeah,
table,
that was
you and I, and
different.
other people.
That was different, Linda. We have moved on 10 years since then. And I would like to propose today in front of this forum, not sat around a table with 2 of us huddled together, but in this forum, and I'm sure there are many facilitators over here, and if they're not facilitators, there are other elements of the medical tourism model. Let's do it.
But
Are you
I
willing?
think, you see, again, we have such a strong organization as MTA, yes? Very strong, very experienced, and we are registered there as facilitators.
That you may be,
yes, but
but
again, a lot of, maybe you are correct, I had no experience.
Let me just qualify this a little more. And I'll qualify it by saying that we need to have a regulatory, a monitoring, and an evaluation function within that association. We open our books to our association. We make it transparent.
Yeah, but
Do
we
we
can
do we
do it
owe
just
such do
via
we
MTA.
do we owe such responsibility to the MTA?
Yeah.
Does the MTA ask us to be as transparent in our function? Yes, as a practice, but not as a monitor, not as an evaluator, not as a regulator.
But
A regulatory body has to be from within.
So I never took part in any, I believe and see the professionalism of that. There can be some section, special
MTA
section.
is a very good
special section in
association.
MTA.
It's doing
so
a very
we
good
can,
job. It's an
yeah.
excellent association, but it is not that one that can license us. We alone can have a governing body that can license. It
But
has
then
to
you
be
start
from
to
amongst
become-
us.
You start to become fragmented again, like you do with other
We have,
all the
all 5 of
organisations.
us can't agree. How can we form an association?
So I have.
Can you take a microphone, please? Thank you.
Thank you. Banu Başaran from Turkey. I'm in this field almost 22 years, and last 10 years I'm representing the Turkish healthcare market in abroad. I have a facilitator company last 5 years also in Turkey, and I would like to recommend something. Every country has their own law. I'm sure that all the facilitators or who is in working with this medical tourism, I don't like to call it tourism, actually it's totally different than the tourism, but yes, everybody needs some certificate program or accreditation capable to do this program also, because there is a lot of mistakes happened. Everybody has this experience, I'm sure about that. But every country has their own law, especially in Turkey, who is touching with the healthcare industry. Ministry of Health is the only authority to giving the certification program. So they cannot take any certificate program from the agency's side. So there must be something, maybe it's going to be Ministry of Economy, Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Health, maybe there will be some legal authority from the governmental side, so they can accreditate the facilitators, agencies, hospitals, to make this organization is going to be much better. There must be some rules, actually. We already started on behalf of the Ministry of Health, maybe in the next 6 months or something. Nobody can open a company. They can bring the patients from abroad. I'm sure that there will be some rules and regulation will be coming soon.
So
why wouldn't we consider to take ISO 9001 edition from September 2015? There is 44 amendments there exactly for activity for medical tourism. ISO it is the one who accredits the process, and we're doing the process.
But ISO is not ISO is not enough for the hospital's accreditation.
We're talking about facilitator now. Actually, in the world we have how much? 22 international structures who are giving accreditation in medical tourism. JCI, TEMOS, blah, 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 blah.
Yes, or something. Yeah.
They are accredited by ISQA. But I believe that everybody in the audience will agree that ISO is the only one, the famous all over the world. These signs, they have to work for our patients, yes? If patient from Ukraine, UK, USA, Uganda, whatever, can see this sign, he have to understand that this is good. I can work with that company, yes?
Sure.
JCI is very popular if we're talking about hospitals in Turkey, yes, because Turkey is the #1 about the number of the hospitals accredited by JCI. Yesterday the speaker mentioned 49, it is 53 at this moment.
53, yes.
I know because I was working for Turkish Hospital
Council. The latest
Council.
information is 53.
Let
Yes.
me just say that in the last 10 years, and over 2,000 patients, not a single patient has asked me if the hospital they're going to is JCI certified.
Yes, JCI is nothing for UK, for example.
For anybody.
Sorry for saying this, but patient, if you say the
for
hospital have
anybody,
JCI,
for
it is-
anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody asks about JCI. Patients are blissfully unaware of the existence of JCI. It is not an element that figures in their decision-making process. They are not aware. Hospitals are. Hospitals know that they have to get it for a different reason. Patients don't know.
So we have to find the way how to give this awareness to the patients that this sign, this is good for us, work with us.
Well,
That's it.
The problem is because we've got them on the other side of the pond and us, and we all work completely differently. JCI is an American thing. Any accreditation we do over here for us won't be recognised in the States, and I have lots of Americans come to me for Europe. So we have to find some way of collaborating together to make the whole world know what we're doing as one unit, not keep fractionalising and going off in tangents
And
all
not
over the place.
duplicate, yes.
Yeah, I've tried this over the years. I've tried it with so many people, and I know all the pitfalls already. We just need some big body to take control and say, this is what we're going to do, and let people do it. Not make it a money-gathering exercise, not making it a bureaucratic nightmare involving government and people like that. You know, it needs somebody sensible to sit down and say, this is what we need.
I believe we are having some signs of beginning a very big deal today. Yes, please. Can we have a microphone, please?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Yeah,
Yep.
thanks. Mike Wallace from Danubius Hotels Group. I don't know if you know us, but we specialize in treatment for musculoskeletal diseases, so like arthritis and rheumatism. And this is a question for Linda and Zahid. While we're very popular in Central Europe, we've never been very effective in conveying our product to the UK market. And I was just wondering if you have any advice or tips you can give us to somehow be more effective in bringing guests to our spas.
It's just making everybody aware of what you've got, what's available. It's down to PR and marketing at the end of the day. And if you get your brand out there and awareness of the public what you do, then they come to us to organise it. So you need to put some money behind it to start with, to get some PR going.
We have a salesperson actually based in the UK in our office, and the feedback we always get is there's skepticism about this type of treatment.
You'll get that. Just ignore it. Just carry on.
Okay.
Nobody got anywhere by just accepting no first time.
The fact that in the UK you've got the NHS providing for treatments, it's something to lean on for most people in the UK. Out of a population of just under 56 million, the total number of people who have private medical insurance in the UK, you'd be surprised, is just over 1.2 million. So in that segment, that is possibly the market size you're looking at, which might venture out of the umbrella of the NHS and come to you for treatment. Because if the treatment is available and they're not aware of the differentiator, you may retort and say, well, we are not offering what the NHS is offering, we are a cut above. And our is a different package. It's about rehabilitation. It's about not just treatment, it's about getting people to become mobile once again, not just have a hip replacement or something of that sort, or recover from rheumatism or arthritis, etc., but to actually be able to use the functions of their body more efficiently and that sort of a thing. You're quite right. But then, who's aware of what distinction you offer? And that brings us to the point about what Linda is making. So it's a size of your market is 1.2 million, and then the message needs to go out to them in a very focused manner. How you reach them is quite a challenge.
And do you receive interest for this type of service or not really?
Well, we have a very distinct focus, which is cosmetic surgery and dental treatment, which are treatments that are not provided by the NHS or covered by insurance. Mm-hmm. Sitting in the UK, that's a ground reality.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. We are almost in time, but if any one question, we can have it.
For all of those interested, the last session today is talking about regulation in the facilitation business. It makes an oblique reference to that.
Yep.
And I would encourage everybody to come over there. It's on first come, first served basis. And I've not been given any money to promote it.